Welcome to episode 3 of the Combatosseurs. I'm your host, Manpreet, aka MMA Lock of the Night, and your boy on Twitter at MMALOTN. And as always, I'm joined by my host, Tony.
That's right. What's up?
All right, 3, and there's going to be some Game of Thrones spoilers in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we're doing this.
We're doing this real quick. We got to fucking kick this shit off with this. Just saying. I know we talked about it on the way here.
Yeah,
But we're
okay.
still going to fucking talk about it.
Cool.
And also, before anybody says anything, we got our little boy Glitch here, who's going to be making an appearance every now and then. And I'm completely okay with that. I don't give a fuck. If you guys hate it, fuck you. And he fucking loves Tony for some reason. So
Oh, yeah.
he's going to be all over Tony. Regardless, Game of Thrones, potential spoilers. But the one thing that I wanted to talk about was when do you think it's right for somebody to be able to talk about Game of Thrones out in public, aka post about it on social media or anything like that? What's your
I go with like 2 days. So if
2
it's
days?
Sunday, like by Tuesday, spoilers are going to be out, and you got to anticipate that.
so you're like, if you were active on social media, which you're obviously not,
hell no,
you would feel comfortable on Tuesday of
Yeah.
2 days after it be.
It's such a big show that if you don't keep up with it, something's going to get spoiled. So you kind of have to watch it. Like, we'll give you the 1 day buffer.
Yes.
And who brought it up? Brendan Schaub on Big Brown Breakdown, or Below the
Below
Belt,
the
whatever
Belt,
the hell
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called now. He was talking about how in the UK, because they have to wait a little
Yep.
bit, so you got to allow for the whole world to watch it. So
Yeah.
I'd say Tuesdays.
Tuesday,
That's fine.
I'd have to agree with that, and you can't like fucking do the whole, a month after you still can't talk about it. Fuck
No,
you.
no, no.
You know what I mean,
Show's too big.
If you're that big of a fan of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
you are caught up, or you're in the process of being caught up, and you're gonna watch it within the next month. Guaranteed.
If you're online in any way, then you have to know it's going to get spoiled. So
Exactly.
either
Don't-
stay offline or
Yes.
watch it. Like that, in this day and age, that's just it's the only
but
option.
people just can't stay off Twitter. They can't
Yeah.
stay off Instagram.
I
mean,
can.
I know. I agree. I'm the same way too with UFC and stuff. I'll completely
Yeah, exactly.
dark
Just put
mode my phone.
away, yeah.
I tell people on my fucking MMA Lock of the Night Twitter as well. I'm like, yo, I'm off for the fucking tonight. I'm not gonna watch anything. Don't expect to hear anything from me.
Yeah.
And I tell you as well, right before
Yeah,
the fight's
yeah,
about to
yeah,
start.
yeah. We gotta
Not
tell
watch
each
it.
other.
No spoilers.
Yeah, we got to tell
Not
each
watch
other.
it. No spoilers.
I think we both spoiled it for each other before, so we have to warn
Exactly.
it.
I will save the further Game of Thrones talk for another episode because there's still a lot to come. We got three episodes left, but after the season finale or series finale, I want to have a little bit of a segment with Tony
Alright,
where
cool.
we
I'm
wrap
so
up
down
the
with
entire
that.
fucking season. So one of our main stories is going to be Game of Thrones, and you guys are just going to have to fucking deal with it. So there's timestamps at the bottom for a reason, all right? Anyway, so let's just fucking kick things off right off the bat. This month started pretty much with a bang. We got UFC 236 right off the bat, and the guys headlining were obviously very worthy of headlining, but I kind of showed my dissatisfaction with the fact that they made this for an interim lightweight belt. We had Max Holloway against
100%.
Dustin Poirier. I was about to say Dustin Ortiz. But Max Holloway against Dustin Poirier. Great fucking fight. It lived up to the hype in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Starting off with you, like what are your initial thoughts coming off of that fight? Where does Poirier go from here? Where does Holloway go from here? What do you think?
I think I mentioned in the last one too that this was the ideal outcome for everybody.
Yes.
In terms of
I agree
Holloway
with that. I
can go
think I
back
said
down
that
to
as well.
featherweight. This
Yeah.
lightweight experiment didn't go that well. He took a lot of goddamn
Lot of
damage. He took a
damage.
lot of
That was
damage in this
bad.
fight.
Yeah.
It's funny. Right before the fight started, I was like, you know what? I honestly think Poirier is about to win this.
Fuck.
And I was kind of annoyed I didn't put any money on it. I did not bet on it at all. But yeah, I actually had that feeling just in terms of his fighting style. Like he's good in close at brawling, and Holloway can get hit. Like
He
was
gets hit.
He
He does
lost
get
the
hit.
third round to Ortega and was getting hit a bit. And I remember thinking about that round. I'm like, man, I feel like Poirier could take way more advantage of it than Ortega could, and I think he could get him. And just the fact that Poirier finished Gaethje in the fourth, I mean, I was like, yo, he's got the cardio to keep up a good pace. He can deal with that level of pressure. So I'm super happy for Dustin Poirier too.
The only thing this really fucks up is Max Holloway's legacy. Like, not completely fucks up, but it like
Yeah,
it
wasn't.
He tried. He lost.
Considering how he looked off the Ortega fight, and then how much he got hit in this, it was a little alarm or a little like, damn, like
One
really?
thing a lot of people
I thought
are
you'd
really,
be able to.
One
avoid
thing a
the
lot of
shots.
people are overlooking is the fact that Brian Ortega is more of a punching bag than Dustin
Yeah,
Poirier
100%.
is,
But even
right?
against Aldo, who hits hard and has great
Like,
striking,
he got tagged in those fights too.
I
right?
wouldn't say at this nowhere close
Like,
to this level. Nowhere close to this
He
amount.
still
yeah.
got hit in all those fights, but
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier, we know he has the better gas tank than Jose Aldo. So
Yeah,
obviously
that's
he's
true.
going to be able to put it
100%.
on a little bit more. So I was a little bit, I was kind of even kicking myself after. I was like, fuck, why didn't I like clue into these things? And
Yeah.
at the price that he was at, around like plus 180 or so, he was definitely worth a shot.
100%. Holloway has this thing where he gets in, hits you, and then can slide just out of range, slide back in, and that really throws guys off. And he couldn't really do that to Poirier.
Yeah.
It was like, that's. Well, I don't know. I blanked out on my thought.
I'm trying to remember how I scored the fight, but there was what was it, the fourth round where he busted him up with that knee?
Yeah,
was there a knee or elbow or something?
Some people are trying to say that there's an argument for Holloway taking 3 rounds.
No.
And
I did see that.
Well,
I did see that chatter out there, but
it was kind of pointing out the flaws in the judging system, because overall everybody can agree Dustin Poirier won the fight, but there's an actual argument that could be made on a round by round basis for a Holloway win. I think
I'd have to watch that fight.
I think it was 3, 4, and 5. They were saying that you can actually make an argument for. I think Poirier definitely won.
Wasn't it one of those later rounds where he got busted up really bad and then Poirier started to put it on a little bit? I'm trying to remember. Remember he got that big gash on his forehead?
That was round 4, and I think Holloway was actually a lot of people. I think most people actually scored that round for Holloway because he
so
actually
outside
hit
of that outside of that strike he was getting lit up.
Yeah, but
not getting lit up, but like
I think that's the round where people were kind of on the fence about. But then I thought it was kind of easy to score 1, 2, 5 Poirier, 3 Holloway, and then 4 maybe Poirier Holloway. Either way, 3, 2, 4, 1.
You touched on it right at the beginning where you said that this is the outcome that most people were going to be most satisfied with, because we get to maintain the order of things.
Yeah,
right?
it kind of like balances things out and gets rid of a little bit of chaos, like, you know what I mean, of the featherweight champ is now the interim lightweight champ.
There is still an asterisk on the order of things for the lightweight division, because
a bit, yeah.
Tony Ferguson, right? Like,
but okay, you know what I'm not too mad about now is that it seems like Poirier and Khabib are probably going to fight in September, which means they could turn around for like February, March, and maybe based on what Ferguson's going through,
they should not.
He can wait till then.
I don't know if their stance is to actually make Tony Ferguson fight again, but he should not. Like,
they're probably going to be giving him fights, especially like he's coming off some issues and stuff. They might want to give him that little bit of a warm-up fight. So you know how they did it with Pettis, where Pettis was clearly not ranked high enough to get a Ferguson fight, but Ferguson's coming off that injury, so they gave him Pettis. I think they should kind of give him maybe a similar type of deal where it's like a very beatable opponent for him, but some to shake the rust up. But I don't know if he'll take it at this point. He's it looks. I'm pretty sure I've seen a few tweets where he's just like, champ shit only. So I think he only wants the belt.
Let me throw this one name out for you. Let me throw this one name out for you.
Okay.
Hashtag, even before I say it, hashtag would watch.
Yeah. Is it?
Nate Diaz.
Okay.
It's a money fight for him.
You know what?
I know Nate Diaz is not that relevant in the lightweight division, but it is still a fight where Tony Ferguson, it's very winnable for him.
That's what I mean. That's why I don't mind it. It's very winnable because
I know you're about to say Justin Gaethje, and I'm on board with that.
But that's also too tough a fight for Ferguson in terms of taking damage. Like he doesn't need that fight.
Exactly.
Avoid that fight when you can get a title fight.
I think most hardcore fans would want to say that they want to see Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson go at it, right? But if you really think about it, the more logical thing is, especially if you're a Tony Ferguson fan, is Tony Ferguson against Nate Diaz, because he gets his feet wet again. He gets a W. Like there's no way that I can realistically see Nate Diaz winning this. He could obviously outbox him on the feet
and pressure him,
but
Ferguson does that, and
Diaz has good jiu-jitsu
too.
He gets hit. He has good jiu-jitsu, and Tony Ferguson.
They're actually very similar now.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
they kind of they just do the same things. As I'm putting this
fight together in my head, I'm like, oh, wait a second.
They do the same things.
How much more of an advantage does Tony Ferguson have in this fight than he does in a fight against Justin Gaethje? In the Justin Gaethje fight, you're putting up with a lot of pressure, a lot of leg kicks, good wrestling. So maybe Tony Ferguson might not even be able to get this fight to the ground.
Yeah.
So
mostly just boxing with Nate Diaz, but it's the same similar type of style.
Maybe more pitter-patter than you're actually getting.
But just the fact that Nate's been off for so long, it seems like, you should probably be able to get that fight.
Yeah, realistically, I don't want to hear anybody mention Tony Ferguson's. I think the last fight was the Conor fight, UFC 202.
So that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was in 2016,
Was it
wasn't
2016?
So I think it was 2016, yeah.
God damn. He was booked to fight Dustin Poirier in November.
Yeah.
And
but that just never happened.
Such a fiasco at the end there, but...
I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, but for money-wise, yeah, fine. He could take that fight, but realistically, I think he should just wait for the belt.
So we've covered Dustin Poirier in the lightweight division.
Yeah.
Max Holloway now. He goes back down to 145. He's going to defend his belt.
Yeah.
Who is most deserving?
I think
We got the rankings just up here, so we can.
I think
refer
easily
to
you got to go with Volkanovski if he beats Aldo.
So you don't want to give Aldo a third shot.
If Aldo
No.
beats Volkanovski,
No.
yeah, he's on a 3-fight win streak,
No,
and
no,
maybe rankings wise he deserves it. But nah, man, he got beat down twice. I don't see why it would go any differently, really.
If Aldo beats Volkanovski,
Oh, yeah.
they should do Zabit versus Aldo. Why not?
Sure, why not?
Right?
I think honestly, I think they're already working on Ortega and Zabit though.
Oh,
I think that's
I'm
what they're
cool
trying
with
to do.
that.
I think that's what they're
absolutely
trying to do.
okay with
Or I
that.
might just be making that up, but I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. Yo,
Who else
honestly,
is
then if Aldo wins, I think they just do give Frankie the shot. There's literally no one else. Because if Aldo wins, he's still won. Ortega's coming off a loss. Volkanovski would be coming off a loss. Moicano's off a loss.
Zabit's there.
Zabit's not
Probably
ready for a
fighting
shot.
Ortega.
Frankie's
Yeah.
coming off a win over Cub at least, even though it's been a
Yeah,
while.
You know what? Jeez,
And-
that actually makes.
and
a little
that's
bit
the
of
only
sense.
guy that Holloway
if you
hasn't beat
refer
it
to
for.
the rankings, that actually makes
Yeah.
a little bit of sense because you got Mirsad Bektik at 9, Josh Emmett's not really up there.
So yeah, essentially,
Cub
Aldo could
Swanson.
really kind of fuck up the whole contender list if he beats Volkanovski. But if Volkanovski wins, 100%,
he gets the shot.
He gets the
He gets the
shot easy because he'll probably jump to 1.
Yeah, for
Number
sure.
4 beating number 1, he's gonna at least number 2.
I think the right move here is to beat against Ortega. Frankie gets a shot if Aldo wins. Volkanovski gets a shot if he wins.
Yeah, easy.
If not, why not book? I think Moicano just hinted that he has a fight booked, so he's slowly going to get back on the path of a potential title shot. Like losing to Aldo is one thing, right? So it's a
Yeah.
loss, but it's
Yeah.
a decent loss. So,
Yeah, Aldo can still throw that.
but I want to
heat.
see Zabit Ortega now that you fucking said that.
I
Fuck this
I
Yair noise. I don't want to.
I wonder if I'm making that up. I swear I heard that. Maybe I don't know.
There's definitely nothing booked. I would definitely know if something's booked. With
Oh yeah,
Zabit.
no, nothing's definitely confirmed. But yeah,
So we got Holloway pretty much waiting for what's going on with Volkanovski and Aldo. Thankfully, which is happening in like 2 weeks. We got
Yeah,
UFC Ottawa this weekend and then UFC 237 next weekend. He's not. I'm pretty sure he's not even the co-headliner. Well, obviously you got Anderson
No.
Silva there.
I just saw his top 3. Yeah, it was Cannonier Silva as the co-main event, and then
Even the fight where he fought Moicano, he was third from the top even though it was a fight night. So it was Mariah Sasanso main event. There was somebody in the co-main event. It definitely wasn't his fight though. There was another big fight on that card. I just can't fucking remember it off the top of my head.
are you sure he was in co-main?
I'm pretty certain.
I swear he was co-main.
I'm pretty certain there's
Okay.
another fight on the card, but I'm not gonna look back at it because I was looking back at it just recently. Should remember that. Anyway, fuck that shit.
Yeah,
All right, yeah. So that's pretty much covering the lightweight, featherweight
just one
division
quick
right there.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's up?
it's kind of weird when you look at the featherweight rankings that if Aldo wins, there's no clear-cut contender for the belt because like we've always known featherweight to be like killers.
Edgar.
But even that
Yeah.
would be like a little bit of a, all right, I guess.
I guess,
You know,
yeah.
because he's so much older. Like Edgar in his prime, fine, but he's older, and after that Ortega loss, I don't think he's ever going to be the same.
I don't know. He got the Cub win, which is something, so he can still win.
Yeah.
But
It was
yeah.
just that was a bad loss to Ortega.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Edgar
he's
Holloway
older.
fight though,
That's the
man.
thing,
Like
he's just
that's
older.
that's a fight that we were supposed to get.
But I feel honestly, just because Holloway's so much bigger, yeah, he'd
Yeah.
probably tee him up. But that would literally be the only option if Aldo wins.
Eh.
Hopefully Volkanovski wins then.
I really think Volkanovski is gonna win,
Yeah.
and
He's got to watch out though, because he got
Yeah.
clipped and rocked by Chad Mendez, who couldn't put him out. But Aldo
cracks.
would probably be able to finish him there. So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
a very intriguing fight
Yeah.
for sure. Let's just move right the fuck on to our top performer of the month. I'm gonna kick things off because I fucking want to.
Okay.
I had Israel Adesanya up there, and I wanted to go with Jack Hermansson. However, there's one guy who I think blew everybody out of the water. Khalil Rountree.
Yeah, that was.
I thought he looked. I know we're going to touch on it a little bit more later in the show, but I thought he looked really good. A lot of people had Eric Anders in that fight. I know a lot of people lost money on Eric Anders there because he just didn't look like who the fuck he looked like. But Khalil Rountree is kind of he is reemerging as that budding prospect in the light heavyweight division. You know what I mean? Like, one fight is all it takes. Everybody kind of already wrote him off. They're like, yo, he's just a good power puncher for like 3.5 minutes of the first round, or maybe 2 minutes of the first round, a minute in the second round, and then 30 seconds in the third round. And if he can't put you out, he probably won't get put out, other than Johnny Walker. But, Michal Oleksiejczuk, the guy who just knocked out Antagulov, he went 3 full rounds with Khalil Rountree as well.
It's always been the cardio and grappling.
It's been the cardio for him. That's the main thing there. But he really showed out here. Joe Rogan even fucking got him on his show pretty much after.
Just because of that performance.
Just because of that performance. I think he nutted at least 7 times watching that fight over and over again. But yeah, man, I definitely thought he was a top performer of the month. And right behind him, like a notch below him, Jack Hermansson for me. You know what I mean? To come in on short notice against a vet like Jacare Souza, who should be fighting for a title at this point. Hermansson comes in there, dominates in a way that a lot of people didn't think he would either, which is with his top game. He won a lot of the rounds. He out-grappled Jacare Souza, and everybody's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you going to that with him? But we're going to be touching on Hermansson a little bit deeper, a little bit later in the show. So I got Khalil Rountree right at the top, 1A, let's say, and Jack Hermansson 1B for top performer of the month. What do you got?
Okay, I also went with Khalil, just because I thought it was kind of clear cut in terms of like, whoa, like who do you think kind of blew you away? Like, holy shit, what the
Especially
hell
as
was
a
that?
dog, as much as a dog as he was in that fight too, right?
And I
People were
mean
writing
that's out of any fight I've ever seen, that's as close to a finish as you can get and not actually get a finish. 4 knockdowns.
I think he got 4 knockdowns
in one round. One round. That's like a 10-6, 10-7.
So that was a fight where I actually bet the fight does not go to decision and lost.
Yeah.
That was one of my lock of the night
That
plays.
was ridiculous.
So I actually want to go back and look through the fight metrics for the last however many events and see when the last time there was 4 knockdowns in a fight without a finish.
That's never happened. I don't think that has ever happened.
I will do the digging and I will let you know next
Definitely not in
episode.
one round, but I don't even think that's happened in a fight. Well,
That must be
actually,
nuts.
I swear Kelvin got knocked down later in that night 3 times in the 5th
How
round,
about
right?
Edgar? Actually, wait. Both
You know what? Kelvin might have actually been knocked down 4 or more times in their fight.
might-
I think it was 3 times in just the 5th round.
I'll try to pull that up later
Yeah,
and see if
anyways.
we can see that.
So
Khalil?
shout outs for me, Diego Lima, just because I love him. I know that wasn't like overall, like in terms of like just in general, a great, amazing performance, but for a Diego Lima, because he's always been good at striking, but he always gets fucked up by these grapplers. And Court McGee's style of high pace and grappling, I thought, like, we both kind of thought that Court McGee was going to be able to pressure him and use his grappling and cardio and beat Diego. Diego was able to keep him off him, and I did think that if it stayed striking, he would win, but I just didn't think it would stay striking, and he was able to keep it on the feet, win the whole fight easily. I thought that was a really impressive win for someone like him over Court McGee.
I'm glad that you brought this fight up because I do want to spend at least 2 minutes on it. In terms of the decision, you think it's clear cut? No split decision needed?
No. I
You
thought
don't think
Diego
the
100% won.
third round where Court McGee dropped him, do you think that warranted the round for him? Remember?
Okay, no, I don't remember the third
Because
round
that third round
much.
was mostly Diego Lima
and then he
picking
got
him apart,
dropped.
and
Okay,
he got
so
dropped.
maybe you can give McGee the third round. I don't
And then
remember
I'm
each
pretty
round
sure
individually,
that-
like what happened
yeah.
exactly, but I just remember the entire fight. It was mostly Diego easily beating him stand up. Like he was getting cracked, Court McGee,
Yeah.
and then he couldn't
I
get
thought
his
it was.
takedowns.
I thought the first round was close too. I'm trying to remember.
I think
off the
damage
top of
wise,
my
it was
head, too.
kind of clear cut though.
But-
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
okay.
Again, I'm not mad at it. I lost 2 split decisions that night. That was one of them. John Lineker, Corey Sandhagen, the other one. But
Yeah.
regardless, do we want to give some shout outs to Corey Sandhagen here?
Another one for
Right.
me, Mike Perry.
Yes.
Because I
don't know, man.
stylistically, I didn't think he would do really well against Cowboy. But I guess a lot of that fight was kind of Cowboy being sloppy, doing his little sloppy thing. But I thought Cowboy Oliveira...
That third round, though, where you knew he just wilted and gave up. Remember when he just went on the cage and he was just defending and letting Perry fucking go ham on him?
Yeah,
You're
I just thought,
giving
okay,
up the round there. That's
I just
that's
thought, okay.
significant, kind of.
fair
I mean,
enough. Yeah, because that's the problem with Cowboy. He's got all the skills in the world, but he just doesn't... He
His
fights
gas
like an
tank.
idiot at some points where he just goes too wild and crazy. But just for the caliber of name. Like, if you look at Oliveira's performances overall, and especially the names that he's fought and done well against.
This is a good name
I
for
thought,
Mike Perry to have on his
man,
belt.
you look at Mike Perry's recent record for him to get that win. I thought that was really impressive for him. Yeah, it was a good win.
Very, very big win.
So,
maybe that sets up a fight with him and Darren Till. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I know Till needs some time off. He's got a lot of shit going on.
Did you hear the fallout a bit? It was like he got fined like 10, 11,000, and now he's deleted all his social media accounts. Yeah,
he's going to disappear for a bit.
So he needs to get his shit together.
He's definitely going to disappear.
I don't know if he's going to be booked anytime soon.
Well, let's just get fucking into our next topic, which is pretty much Jack Hermansson busting onto the middleweight scene. 2 wins in 30 days? Let's call it 30 days.
Yeah.
Right?
When was the
It was March 28th. I'm pretty sure that was March 28th. So roughly
in
30
1
days,
month,
in 1 month's time, Jack Hermansson finishes David Branch within less than a minute, right? He power guillotine chokes him, gets that win there, and then comes into this fight with Jacare Souza on only like 2 or 3 weeks' notice, very, very short notice, and pretty much stamps his spot in the top 5. Right, he better be in the top 5. I gotta fucking look at this shit.
He just beat number 3, so
he better be top 5. UFC rankings don't fail us now.
I don't have the. Yeah.
Okay, Jack Hermansson, number 5.
He's
all
number
right,
5,
I'm not mad at that. Luke Rockhold is obviously going to get taken off that because he's fighting at light heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not been taken off those.
So once he maybe makes that debut at light heavyweight, they'll take him off. So Jack Hermansson will probably be around number 4, right? So.
And I guess they're going to do. Romero with Coast. You know what? If Hermansson's actually able to fight, Romero would probably be the fight that he would want to take.
Hermansson Romero, I like that.
But I think
Hermansson keeps calling out fucking Chris Weidman though. I don't think he. There's no need for that fight. Like we were supposed to get Jacare Souza against Yoel Romero. Yoel pulls out. Jack Hermansson steps in, beats Jacare. Why not give him Yoel Romero now?
You know what? I think the only issue would be that Romero's looking to come back now. Hermansson's had 2 fights. He's probably going to want to sit out for a bit.
I'm sure he'd be down to fight in December or something. And Yoel can wait.
I think honestly, I think they're going to book the Costa fight with Romero. They seem in dead set.
I wouldn't. You know what? I wouldn't mind that actually. Chris Weidman and Gastelum,
Paulo is right below it.
Number 8. So I wouldn't mind seeing
Weidman Gastelum. You said rematch?
No. Hermansson Weidman.
But that just wouldn't make sense for Hermansson, man.
Weidman's just not coming up.
Poor Weidman. He's fought everybody in the top 5 or 6, and he's 1-4 against them.
He looked good in that Jacare fight too.
Yeah, he looked offensively good, but defensively, Jacare just walked him down and was still landing. So you got to do something about that.
It's crazy when Jacare gets into that 3rd round mode where he just fucking.
Well, he realized whatever this dancing stuff Weidman's doing is clearly getting me. I can't do anything about that. I'm just gonna eat them.
Throw bombs.
I'm just gonna eat them and counter with bombs, and he started to get
paid off for him, but
100%.
Because that was a fight that he was probably going on to lose. No.
Jacare, that's what everybody was saying. They're like, Weidman had the first 2 rounds in the bag, and he was probably going to win that. And I'm like, I don't know. I had it 1-1, and then Jacare was pressuring in that third.
He was winning that round.
He
clipped him a couple times.
Oh yeah, that might. Yeah. I thought the fight was kind of closer to even than Weidman winning, but either way, he got that crazy knockout at the end.
We got Jack Hermansson pretty much spoiling Jacare's career. You know what I mean? How much more? Does he have another run left him in?
You know what? You might
puts him back down. He needs to win at least 2, max 3 more fights to be considered for a title shot.
Jacare is one of those guys where it's how did he never get a title shot? I mean, he was in talks for a title shot since 2013. It's been 6 years, I swear. He's been on top.
He steamrolled Bellator's middleweight champion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
he was beating everybody. Even the Gastelum fight, I thought he won that fight. So in my opinion, during this whole time, his only loss was realistically to Robert Whittaker in this whole stretch until the Jack Hermansson fight. I didn't think he lost to Gastelum, but I agree. It probably should have been Adesanya Jacare, but I actually think Adesanya would have had an easier time with Jacare than Gastelum, stylistically wise. Gastelum has the boxing and the speed and the striking to put up a fight, whereas Jacare kind of just walks forward and stuff. That style, I think Adesanya would have an easy time with.
Do you think Jacare would have gotten him down?
He's just too. Nah, I don't think so.
Jacare, in my opinion, doesn't really have the best wrestling.
Not amazing.
Ability to get.
He doesn't even try and get takedowns that often. He's willing to stand, and then if I guess if you give him the opportunity, he'll do it. But
So they I don't know if they've officially announced it, but there's a lot of hints and rumors that they're going to be doing Adesanya and Whitaker in September.
yeah, that makes
September or
sense.
October
Stadium, right?
in the stadium in Australia.
Yeah,
That's
that
going
makes
to be fucking nuts.
that is
To
gonna be
have a
crazy.
Kiwi against an Australian, like, and that in Australia as well. What last time they sold out 58,000 with Ronda Rousey and Holly
Yep.
Holm,
Yep.
right?
Something like
I don't
that.
even think they had much Australian representation
Yeah,
on that
and
card.
now they have their champion is an Australian, and the guy he's fighting is from New Zealand.
I know. How
Come
fucking
on
nuts
now.
is that?
Yeah, that's nuts.
That should be
That's going to be
a
an interesting
fucking
fight.
fantastic fight.
I would honestly have to favor Whitaker after the way Gastelum performed against Adesanya.
Yeah.
And the
Gastelum had some
damage,
success, yeah.
the damage that Adesanya, like you have a fight like that, you
I
probably
know.
shouldn't be turning around in 6
What
months.
is it? So he fought April 13th and they fight in September. What is
And that was also what his 4th or 5th fight in one calendar
Yeah.
year or something
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculous. And now he's going to turn around in like another 5 months and have a war against what I don't know, man. That's a tall order, but yeah, should be a fun fight either way.
So in Tony's realistic world, not realistic, let's say
Yeah.
fantasy world, sorry. What's next? We got Jack Hermansson against who?
I think they're going to do Gastelum.
Jack and Gastelum.
Just because Romero is probably going to be booked with Costa, Gastelum and Hermansson both have reasons to kind of chill out a bit and relax before they take another fight. Gastelum's coming off a loss, so even just getting to fight number 5, even though he's number 4, is still probably good for him. Because who else is he going to fight above him, right?
Yeah,
Rockhold's going to
that-
get taken
the rest
out.
Of the rest of the rankings are a little rough, man.
So yeah, I'd probably go with Hermansson.
We got
Gastelum
number
next.
9 Brunson fighting fucking Elias, who's number 14, I think. Number 13, Jared Cannonier against Anderson Silva coming up.
Where's Anderson ranked? Is he even ranked there?
That's weird.
Oh, he's not ranked.
He's not ranked at all. When's the last time he fought?
He's 15.
Oh, he's number
okay.
15. Oh, yeah, he lost to, or he beat Derek Brunson.
He lost
And
Adesanya.
then lost to Adesanya, yeah.
That's crazy. He's 15 now, just at the bottom, and
so
Adesanya's
nuts.
number 1 now. And
Yeah.
and both of their last fights was
That's
against each
fucking
other.
nuts.
That is crazy.
Do you think Jack has what it takes to get a title shot? Realistically, if he fights
He's-
Kelvin Gastelum next, does he get past Gastelum?
I think that's a tough fight for him. Calvin's boxing.
Kelvin's boxing is good, but
Man.
Jack is a huge 185.
He is huge, actually. And if
He's
he
a
gets,
big
you know what?
185er.
He definitely has the grappling advantage too. Well, actually, I don't know.
He is top
maybe,
heavy.
Maybe the wrestling advantage, yeah, and good top game. But Kelvin has some quick ass grappling, and he's got. Remember his rear naked
But
chokes?
is it?
Quickest.
My question is going to be, how does he deal with the strength of Jack? How does he deal with the size
That's
of
true.
Jack?
Kelvin really is a welterweight. Everybody,
Kelvin's a
I
welterweight.
think we all know it. He's a
I'm-
welterweight.
It would not surprise me, nor should it surprise you that he should fucking be dropping down to 170 now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this middleweight experiment should be done. Like I
He
feel
did
like
it. He made
yeah,
it to as far as he could.
Exactly.
which
They-
is
they-
very respectable.
they forced him to go up. He made a run for it, got the wins to get into title contention. So it's like, okay, I'll just keep going with it. And then
I
you
did
had
what you said.
a really tough fight that took years off your career at middleweight against
I gave you
Adesanya.
guys a gem of a fight.
Yeah.
Now let me go back. Let me try my hand at 170 again.
Yeah, and 2 fights ago, I mean, he got kind of like I guess
Weidman. He
Yeah,
got
tossed around by
yeah.
Chris Weidman
Yeah.
in terms of just getting like out-muscled. That
Yeah.
was the term I was looking for. Yeah.
Technically,
just out-muscled.
Yeah.
So he's just too small for the division. He should go back down. But that just shows how fucking good his stand-up is, his boxing. That he's so
Yeah.
tiny and he's still lighting these dudes up.
Fuck,
Like
yeah.
he only
He was
had.
landing on Israel like
That's what I found
very
crazy.
well.
I think we're going to talk about that later, so I'm going to hold my
Yeah.
thoughts. But yeah,
no, that was insane. Dude.
that was nuts.
I'm kind of happy to see Luke Rockhold go up to 205.
Definitely.
I think his time at 185 is done. He
I
got
mean,
the
you
title
keep-
there. Now just move up.
He's so good, and
Yeah.
people kind of overlook it because they hate him. He's cocky,
Yeah.
whatever. But even the Romero fight, I think that's his last fight, right? He got knocked out by Romero.
He got knocked out.
He was lighting. Well, kind of lighting him up. His boxing looked sharp, and he was beating Romero up until. Once again, he always has that one little issue.
One slip
His
up.
little check right hook that he always gets countered with, and his chin up. And he just keeps getting put out by one shot. So maybe it would be way better for him to go up to 205. The weight cut's probably not doing him any favors. Maybe that's why he keeps going out.
Maybe.
But
He's fighting Jan Blachowicz, I think, in July. So do you think that
Yeah.
he could make a serious title run here? Like
100%.
how
He beats
Daniel Cormier is probably going to retire by the end of this year or next year.
I'm surprised Daniel Cormier is still ranked number 1 at light heavyweight.
I know he.
Why is he even in the rankings? I mean, he should be there if he's there, but
What do you mean? Like you think he should just be a heavyweight?
yeah, he shouldn't be in the rankings there. He's the heavyweight champion.
think
He
he should.
probably won't even fight at 205 again.
He fought. When was the last time he fought at 205? John Jones.
Was
Right?
it the loss to Jones?
I think so. Because Jones hasn't.
Was it Vulcan? No.
No,
Vulcan
Vulcan
was before.
Yep.
I think you're right.
No, he was champ. Remember, he was champ, and then he got it stripped when Jones came back.
Yeah, that's right. So
229.
who did he beat to get? Oh no, wait. He was reinstated the champion, and then I think he went up to fight Stipe, right?
Then
He
went up
lost
to
the
fight
belt,
Stipe.
and they reinstated him with the belt, and then I think he fought Stipe. Why do I feel like he fought someone else before Stipe? I don't know. And won, but
Going crazy.
yeah, whatever. Either way, yeah, I'm definitely happy to see Rockhold back. I think
He fought Derek Lewis in November, but
yeah, that was
defended
after.
the title.
Though. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he'll if he beats Blachowicz, which he should, skill wise, skill wise, he should clean up everybody outside of Gus. Really,
Yeah, dude, him versus Gus. So if Gus gets past Anthony Smith and Luke
100%.
Rockhold gets past Jan,
that's
the fucking
that's
fight.
the fight you make. So Rockhold realistically just needs 2 wins, and he's getting a title shot.
Who else is lingering there?
Blachowicz and Gus.
Corey Anderson.
I mean, if you
Johnny
think about
Walker.
it, if you're Luke Rockhold and you see that Anthony Smith got a title shot and
Yeah.
Thiago Santos is getting the next shot, and these were middle-tier middleweights, you're probably like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
why the hell didn't I jump up earlier? This is just going to be easy. Well, as long as he doesn't get too cocky. Gus is a hard fight for him.
Watch Jan fucking put him out.
But yeah, oh god, that would be terrible. He should easily beat Jan as long as I think he should definitely try and take him down. But even stand up, he should be able to hold his own. Gus, I think, is a hard fight.
I just hope
that
that
would be
his
a hard
his
fight.
chin issues and all that stuff it gets rectified once he goes up to 205. That's
Yeah.
a 20-pound jump.
That's
so,
what I'm. But I
and
also
he's a
like that he
big
took
fucking dude
huge,
as well, man. He's a
huge,
big
and he's
dude.
ripped too. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't even know how he's making
I'm
185.
interested to see how he looks with that extra 20 pounds on, and is he going to look even more? Is he going to look Paulo Costa-ish? Is he going to look fucking, is he going to look like muscle
Yeah.
fat? Like how is
Yeah,
it going
how
to
much
look?
bigger is he going to
Like
look?
20 pounds is a lot. Like,
That's a ton.
that's a huge jump.
Yeah,
I'm-
you know,
I'm-
come to think of it, I'm kind of disappointed they just didn't do Rockhold Gus right away. Almost.
Yeah, they're dilly-dallying with this.
I
bullshit
guess
now.
I guess they're just trying to give Rockhold a nice little entrance fight to
True.
the division. Don't just give you Gus right away. But yeah. Oh, another thing, just to quickly point out, I don't like the Gus Smith booking.
I don't like it either.
Smith is
They
coming
should've
off a
done
loss
the-
to the champion where he
They
didn't
should
do
have done
anything.
the Corey
and-
Anderson fight. I'm not mad with the Corey
I mean,
Anderson
think about it.
fight.
Smith's coming off a loss and fighting up.
And he's number 8. That's fucking hilarious.
He's coming off a loss to the champion, in which I didn't like. A lot of people say, "Oh, he held his own." I thought he fought very unimpressively. I didn't think it was that great at all. And now he's going to fight number 2, who's coming off a win.
Look at number 12.
Oh no, wait, Gus is coming off the Jones loss too. They're both.
This guy's coming.
Oh yeah, Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker's
yeah.
coming, baby.
How is he ranked below Jimmy Manawa still?
I don't know. Jimmy Mann was fighting Alexander Rakic next, who's not even
Oh.
ranked.
Gotta mention Corey Anderson, especially after he was on JRE.
Yeah.
Because the guy keeps talking about how he gets overlooked all the time, and he's kind of right.
Yeah.
Like, let's get him
The
a good fight.
The Glover fight was very impressive.
He should get Dominic, but I know that Dominic Hayes is probably going to be
No.
like, fuck no, I want to fight up. So, yeah. Corey Anderson
I
should
think
be
Corey
getting a good
Anderson
fight.
just called out. Who the fuck?
They
he
should
called
have
out?
done Corey Anderson and Anthony Smith, not Anthony Smith and Gus. Because Smith's coming off a loss, so he should fight down. Corey should get a nice little fight with
think-
someone ranked above.
oh,
Then
yeah,
he could probably
Corey-
dominate.
Corey
He'll probably
actually-
beat Smith.
Corey was calling out Dominic Reyes. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, but Race is another up and comer who wants
Yeah.
to fight up. He probably won't take.
But Corey
that fight.
Anderson isn't really a up and comer. Like he's already cemented. Like we know what he is. We know who he is. He just hasn't gotten the opportunities to prove himself.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. I
That's-
wouldn't really classify him as an up and comer. I think that's a good test for Dominic Reyes, to be honest. Like it's a guy who's already established in the UFC, has a good.
No,
track
no.
record
I meant
there.
Dominic Reyes is a up and comer kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, no,
Like
Dominic
he's
Reyes is
getting-
an up-and-comer, but I
Yeah,
don't
so
think
that's
that
why I
Corey
don't think he
Anderson-
wants
yeah.
to fight down at number 8, especially against Corey Anderson. I don't think that does anything for him. And that's
It's
kind of a dangerous
ridiculous that
fight.
he's up to number 5.
That's a dangerous fight, relatively. Like for stylistically.
For me,
Fuck,
it's nuts that fight that he's even number 5.
Off of the Volkan fight?
Yeah.
I think Volkan's severely overrated when you think about his wins.
agree.
Like, his wins
Dude,
were so quick. He started getting domed.
He has a submission loss via neck crank.
To Kelly Anderson or whatever? Yeah.
That's just...
Even his wins, they were really quick. He didn't get to show much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I think maybe we're... And the Cormier fight, Cormier broke him and finished him twice.
Yeah.
People don't remember.
Twice, yeah.
At the end of round 1, the bell saved him, and then he just broke him and finished him again. Like, it was not impressive.
That was the easiest battle.
And then the Anthony Smith fight, he just gassed and felt like he did nothing while Anthony Smith finished. Smith didn't even look that
was
impressive in
bad.
that
He looked
fight.
really bad in that fight.
It was just Volkan not looking good.
Yeah.
And then, even the Reyes fight, I thought he lost that clear cut, just based off lack of activity. You probably could have won it if he just did more. But, I don't...
All right, that's gonna wrap up our middleweight talk with Hermansson as well. The main thing was Jack Hermansson just pretty much making a splash as soon as he beat Jacare here. But we're gonna move right on to the double jab segment. I've already gotten a lot of love for that segment. I know a lot of people love hearing my man Big Rob's voice. What's going on, Rob?
Hey. What's going on, guys?
He's back. So,
yeah,
we're slowly getting him to learn these MMA names. Some of them are a little bit harder than normal. I wish I could show you guys the script so you guys can see how we actually have it phonetically spelled out for him. But he enjoys doing it anyway, so we're glad to have him along for the ride. So,
he didn't have to say Hermansson?
Nope.
You know what I told
He's
you.
lucky.
You
He's
know
lucky.
what I would have told you.
Oh, nah. Let's leave that alone. All right, Rob. Let's fucking go. Kick us off.
All right, guys. So for the first one, Bare Knuckle Boxing had their biggest event this past month with Artem Lobov and Jason Knight headlining. What are your thoughts on Bare Knuckle Boxing, and how far do you think they can take it?
Okay, so I didn't even watch this fight. Did you actually watch all of it?
I did, actually.
Okay,
I
so
did watch this fight.
I didn't see this fight, but I did see highlights of it. In terms of how far it can go, I think it just looks too brutal. So it's probably always going to have a niche, smaller audience. I don't really care to watch it, in all honesty, because I tend to just like watching MMA because it's everything, the ground and everything. So after watching MMA, it's hard for me to kind of watch just straight boxing. And especially these guys, they're not established, they don't have a name. So it's not really, I guess, a thing for me to a certain degree or that much. But yeah, I think they'll always have their little niche and they can put on their events, but I don't think they're going to grow that much. Just based off like the cuts and the cosmetic damage it causes too. I mean, Jason Knight's face looked like fucking Chucky, the doll. Like that was pretty.
I showed it to Big Rob as well, and he was fucking disgusting.
I didn't think it would be that bad, bare knuckle boxing, because I think the problem is they still wrap the hands, right? If you didn't wrap the hands, you can't punch
they
as
wrap
hard.
the wrist.
Yeah, so but that allows them to punch full force too, and not worry about the wrist damage. I think if you just went straight, like no hand wraps or anything, it wouldn't be as brutal, and I don't know. Might be better.
So, unlike you, I did watch the Artem Lobov fight and Jason Knight fight. I saw, I think the fight before it as well. I can't remember who it was, but I did also see the Chris Lieben finish as well. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I heard about it.
It's just, I think it's just an outlet for these guys that are maybe a little bit older, or maybe, out of the UFC, Jason Knight being a prime example.
That's a good point.
And Artem Lobov being the example of guys that just like to fucking bang. You know what I mean? Like Artem Lobov in his fights, he doesn't like taking fights to the ground. He just fucking swings. He has T-Rex arms. He has the shortest reach ever recorded in man's history. And he just loves to swing, and he just gets lit the fuck up every time.
Yep.
Now, this time, he doesn't have to worry about takedowns. He doesn't have to worry about any type of clinch or anything like that, because they break up clinches pretty quickly. So I think it's good for guys like him, entertaining guys like him, and especially this fight that they have coming up now in June with him and Paulie Malignaggi. That is, in my opinion,
crazy.
That's going to be the barometer in terms of how much they're able to actually take bare knuckle boxing to the next level. Because Paulie Malignaggi is probably the biggest name they're ever going to get in boxing. Let's be honest. We're not getting no Floyd Mayweather. We're not getting anything like that. So, I like the sport, but I don't know how far that they'll actually be able to take it. Definitely not UFC level.
Yeah, just good point on it's good for the let me bang bros.
Exactly. All right, Rob, what do we got next?
Okay, for number 2, Khalil Rountree put on an amazing performance against Eric Anders. What are your thoughts on his improvements? And are there any other fighters that come to mind that have shown similar improvements between fights?
All right, so I'm going to kick this one off. We touched on it a little bit earlier in terms of Khalil Rountree probably having the performance of a lifetime, if not of this past month. Again, very impressed with his striking, his Thailand style, his Thai style with Tiger Muay Thai. I remember a lot of people shitting on him. They're like, yo, why the fuck is he in Thailand? He already has good striking. Why isn't he not going to like a AKA? Why isn't he not going to one of these more wrestling dominant
That is kind
camps?
of a fair point before we saw him.
You know, yeah, before we saw him. And then he just comes out and completely proves everybody wrong. And just as a contrary point in regards to the wrestling, he is still getting wrestling out in Thailand. I mean, like
Yeah,
I have friends that have been out there into Tiger Muay Thai, and they said they have a really good wrestling program too. So it's just because it's named Tiger Muay Thai doesn't mean that he's just working on his Muay Thai, right? And it's good that he worked on his clinch a lot too, because that will help him in these situations where people start to close the distance and engage in the clinch and try to get him down from there. So maybe he's going to be a little bit more brutal there. I'm very happy with his improvements. The one fight I did want to touch in terms of similar improvements between fights, TJ Dillashaw, between his title shot with Renan Barão and whoever the fuck he fought before them, Mike Easton, leaps and bounds he looked better. So
That was actually my one of my honorable mentions, but another couple that I want to mention in terms of improvements. Robbie Lawler, after he came in from Strikeforce against Josh Koscheck, he was a huge underdog. I had money on Koscheck, and he just ran through him because he was lackluster at middleweight Strikeforce, and you thought he's done, and then he just came back into title
and at a
contention
different
with that
division
fight.
too.
Yeah, cut back down to welterweight, killed it.
Crazy.
And then I think my number one would have to be Henry Cejudo against Wilson Reyes after the DJ fight, where he came in this weird, and when he knocked him out, you're like, what the fuck? You just totally switched up your whole striking stance, and you springy on his feet, and he just destroyed him. So that was one of those where you're like, whoa. But I also had the Dillashaw Barão after the Mike Easton fight. And Khalil, we kind of touched on it before, but one thing that the most impressive for me out of that was that he controlled his striking, so that he was able to go 3 rounds and keep
4
up the pace.
knockdowns.
It wasn't just craziness. It was like the whole time it was even when he hurt Anders, just stick to it, and he fought consistently. That was big in my opinion. That was the biggest part of that.
What's next, Rob? What do we got?
Okay, guys, for number 3,
Speaking of,
TJ Dillashaw tested positive for EPO. Is this a shock to you? And what are your thoughts regarding USADA, PED, PEDs, and other fighters who have tested positive?
okay, so maybe that's the reason he looked so good after the Easton fight, right? He was able to keep up a good pace with the EPO. I'm not surprised, because if you look at how competitive that guy is, holy fuck, all he thinks about is winning all day, every day. Totally believable that he would take some EPO to be able to keep up a pace.
And to make that much more money. Let's think about how much more money he made.
100%. And then when you look at, Cody tweeting in August 2018 about him taking EPO and talking about him like knowing
Even
him
in the
doing
press
it.
conference.
Benavidez not surprised about it, so it's not surprising at all. He just seems so competitive that's totally something that someone like him would do. What was the other part of that question?
Other fighters that makes you think of that have failed tests and like what it does to the legacies and stuff like that.
I mean, it's funny. Ortega failed the test, and nobody ever talks about that. They just quietly took their
They swiped
suspensions.
that under the rug.
Yeah,
They
there's
swept
been
that
a
under.
couple of other ones. I think it's before USADA, because USADA kind of puts everyone on blast.
Yep.
This is the biggest drug test failure since USADA came out in terms of the name and the fact that there was absolutely no denial at all. Like everyone else had the tainted supplement or dick pill excuse or whatever. This nothing. He just flat out admitted it.
For me, with TJ Dillashaw, it was not a shock at all. I mean, one thing that I've learned, like even way back in the day, like in 2011, 2012, when I really started working with the UFC behind the scenes and the score and all those guys, I forgot who it was, but there was one guy. Actually, I do remember who it was, but I'm not going to put him on blast. You guys would all know him. Anyway, he said, whoever you think of in your mind, they're on steroids. Like, whatever fighter you think of, I'm like, Jose Aldo, he goes, he's on steroids. Frankie Edgar, I'm like, he's more than likely on steroids. Like, all these guys,
damn.
he believes everybody is somehow, some way trying to cheat the system. And with this USADA thing, USADA wasn't even a thought back when I was talking to him about it. But now, like, these guys are going to keep getting popped. I think TJ Dillashaw was kind of the more flaunting it out there, but never really being suspected, which was weird.
Yeah, and it's weird because his style is based off of endurance, and he's using EPO.
Yeah.
That nullifies a lot of
What
his legacy.
happens when he comes back in 2 years?
Yeah.
and he's off that shit.
Yeah.
Could he find something else, right? Like,
Exactly.
that's insane to me. All right, Rob, what do we got for number 4?
Okay, guys. So number 4, we got Bellator and Ryzen have done a couple cross-promotion super fights. If you were in control, what cross-promotion fight would you make today?
Oh.
That
That's
is
an
me
interesting-
first. All right. There were 2 that I had that come to mind. One would be I want to see Gegard Mousasi come back to the UFC. So I'm taking like anybody into consideration. So any promotions, all right? I'm thinking Gegard Mousasi coming back to the UFC to defend middleweight belt, Bellator belt, whatever they want to call it. Right now we got Bobby Knuckles as the champ. So that would be a great fight in my opinion. But one fight as kind of like a hardcore nut that a lot of people will probably look over and not give a shit about, and I would probably not sell any pay-per-views with this fight, but I don't give a fuck. I want to see Valentina Shevchenko against Alima Lei McFarlane.
Okay. I think Valentina would run her over. But...
I agree. You know what? No, I don't totally agree because
Yeah?
Alima Lei McFarlane she's really good. Like, she has really good jiu-jitsu, and she keeps improving her striking. I think Valentina Shevchenko will have the advantage, obviously, on the feet, but I think that if Alima Lei is able to get this into like clinch positions, maybe somehow get this fight to the ground, I think her jiu-jitsu could make it very interesting. She has a great offensive guard. She's always looking for reversal sweeps. You got to watch some of her fights, man. She's fucking amazing. She's
I've
really
only seen
good.
highlights. Yeah, I have not seen a full
It's
fight of hers.
unfortunate for her that she hasn't had the stiffest of competition in Bellator to really showcase her skills, but she's doing what she can. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair enough.
What do you got?
I definitely agree with you. Mousasi Whitaker. Mousasi's probably one of those, like, out of anybody who should be in the UFC that's not in the UFC, that's like a travesty that he's not in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like, that guy should be at the
That
top
one
of the
felt like a
division,
kick in
and-
the dick when Mousasi
Yeah,
left.
that one definitely should have been up there. Another one that's kind of like, I guess in my opinion, I would probably know who would win it, but I think a good fun fight would be Horiguchi and Cejudo.
Ooh.
I would definitely like to see that fight, just the way Horiguchi's kind of been tearing shit up at Ryzen.
Yep.
Well, he's booked for
And
to
he
fight
just beat
Caldwell, yeah.
fucking Caldwell.
Rematch is coming
They're
up.
doing
They
a
already booked
rematch
the
now.
rematch, but yeah, that was one off the top of my head. I guess you could go with yeah, no, I don't know actually.
Who's 135? We got Darian Caldwell and Marlon Moraes potentially.
Yes, actually, Caldwell. I would actually like to see Caldwell against Sterling. Stylistically, I think that would be a nice little fun fight. Because they got similar
yeah.
builds. Caldwell's got the wrestling, Sterling's got the wrestling, and he's a little more funky with the
With
submissions
this,
and stuff.
and striking too.
So
Yes,
I think that would
a little
be
bit better.
a
That's
fun fight to watch, yeah.
That's definitely something that I would. Yeah, that's one thing that
That
I
might
didn't
be
really think
Caldwell's
about.
first fight if he jumps in.
You think he's going to leave the UFC?
I
Bellator?
don't think so. I think they're
Like
paying...
him and Chandler, I think are diehard Bellator guys. They're probably just going to stay there.
Even just a quick thing, Rory MacDonald got $200,000 to fight John Fitch. I mean, that's kind of easier money than what he would get in the UFC. So Bellator is probably paying these higher name fighters like good money. So
Yeah.
like a Caldwell. Why wouldn't you
Why
just
would they
take that
leave?
easy money to fight lesser competition? UFC's killers, man. They're not going to pay you that much.
All right, Rob, what's last?
Okay, last one, number 5. Israel Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum. Sorry.
You got it.
Had a war for the ages at UFC 236. What did you think of the fight? And what's next for them?
Tony?
So I'd like to ask you a question. Is that the best middleweight title fight, or just title fight, or middleweight fight, like in either of those three categories? Is that at the top of either of those lists? Because that fight was insane. In terms of even like, okay, going back, like live, you have to take in the tension that was happening because it was going back and forth.
Yeah.
It was tied up going into the 5th, and then Adesanya runs away with it with 3 knockdowns in that fight. Gastelum somehow surviving. Gastelum looking so short and pudgy and still able to hit this tall, rangy kickboxer. Like, I thought Adesanya was easily kind of going to be able to beat him and get out of, like, he would... I thought offensively Adesanya would do what he did in the fight, but I thought defensively he'd be able to get out of his range more easily.
Especially with the reach discrepancy.
Yeah, but then you got to watch it, man. Monday Morning Analyst Luke Thompson kind of breaks down how Gastelum was able to get in with his footwork and this little technique of grabbing. He was actually grabbing Adesanya's hand at times and pulling it out of the way and then going in and punching him. So just that kind of surprised me. Like, I really thought, like, I didn't even think Gastelum deserved the fight. I thought he was coming off a loss. So that he performed way better than I expected, and the fight was just insane.
So I'm going to start off by answering your question.
Okay.
The only other middleweight title fight that comes to mind that had me kind of as riveted as this one did was Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
The first fight, like, even though it wasn't as flashy and bloody and crazy as this fight, what was happening was the most fucking crazy.
And for the time, like,
for the
you
time,
have to understand what Anderson
Silva
time.
was unbeatable. Anderson Silva was the god. He was the GOAT, undeniably the GOAT. The way he was finishing everybody, the way he was just going about things, and then Chael Sonnen comes in here, goes 4.5 hard rounds of controlling him on top, beating him up, like landing good shots from on top. Maybe not advancing guard or anything like that, but was beating him up enough to keep the fight on the ground.
Yep.
And then we all know what happened in the 5th round where he... But either way, he tested positive that fight. He would have got stripped. Anderson Silva would have got the title back.
He was at like a 17-1 TE ratio.
Yeah.
It was
but in terms of Izzy and Gastelum, man, that fight was just insane. It really came down to that 5th round, in my opinion. We had a 2-2 going into that 5th, and Adesanya just pushed a little bit harder, was able to get the better moments, and pull away with that fight.
Kelvin's fucking chin. Like, he should have been finished like 6 times in that fight. It shouldn't have even been like a war. It really, Adesanya probably should have put him out easy, like, quicker, but guy would not fucking go out.
You guys know how I like to do the leeways, right? So I'm going to find a way to leeway this into the next one. So we're talking about Israel Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum. A fight that would have been very fun for him at welterweight had he been there when Rory Mac was still in town. Would have been really good. So our next topic is pretty much Rory MacDonald getting that victory over John Fitch. He moves on in the Welterweight Grand Prix. So we touched on the Welterweight Grand Prix when we had episode 1, I believe. So now we're into the 2nd round. We got Rory MacDonald against Neiman Gracie, and we got Michael Venom Page against Diego Lima. I picked Neiman Gracie as my dark horse of this tournament. I forgot who you picked. If we were to who you, I
think I took Lima, didn't I?
You thought Lima was going to win the entire thing. You think?
I want to say Lima.
With the way things have gone now, we've seen the 1st round.
Ooh, this is Do
you still feel the same way?
Let's just quickly touch on that Fitch McDonald fight. So. We watched it together. I was kind of falling asleep in and out. It was late, but from what I saw a lot of Fitch controlling. But then when there were stand-up periods, Rory would just destroy him. You thought, like,
handily,
watching it live, that
handily, I thought he had at least 3 rounds.
Yeah,
minimum,
and you were surprised at the decision.
Yeah.
Then I remember, like, I went online. Most people actually had it for Rory based off damage. They seemed to give him 1, 2, and 4. So, and because they felt that Fitch didn't really do anything controlling. But either way, for Rory, that was a weird fucking fight. Everyone thought he was going to blow him out of the water. And for Fitch to control Rory like that, when Rory kind of handled Tyron Woodley, that was a little, like, what is going on?
The thing about Fitch, though, is he's always had that grindy style.
He just doesn't stop.
And he's strong. Like, he is a physically imposing guy. And he has
Woodley
good
will
cardio.
just shoot and stop. And then, Fitch will just keep going. But, I don't know. It just, like, Rory really should have probably blown him out of the water. And now I think he's probably going to be an underdog going into the Gracie fight.
See, I was hoping you were not going to say that.
Why?
I was hoping that, I was going to say that Neiman Gracie is still going to come into this fight as an underdog, but probably not as big of an underdog because of the performance that he just had against John Fitch. I got to watch a little bit more tape on Neiman Gracie to really understand how he's able to get these fights to the ground and if it's going to be something that he's going to be able to do with Rory MacDonald.
Yeah.
And we've seen that if you can pressure Rory against the cage, that you can be successful with takedowns depending on how consistent you stay with it. And you would expect a guy like Neiman Gracie to be able to string his wrestling together, to maybe hop on the back, pull guard if he needs to from certain points. So you think that he might even be a favorite going?
Yes, because of not only the performance against Fitch, but Rory's post-fight comments. That guy might be mentally checked out.
He really backpedaled ever since then.
I mean, he's all religious, found God. He doesn't feel like he has that spirit to hurt people anymore. That's a problem.
Neiman Gracie's trying to come out here and win $1 million
Neiman Gracie,
and change his life.
Yes, Neiman. What is it? Hold on. One thing to touch on after that, but after my quick comment. But Neiman Gracie is an up-and-comer.
Yeah.
He wants it. He's like trying to get there.
Rory's trying to make a name.
Rory's there and almost mentally checked out. Like, this is not good for him. And it's a quick turnaround on top of that.
Yeah, June, right?
Yeah, he's got to get his head together and get in the game. I think Neiman Gracie is probably going to sub him and probably will be the slight favorite, I think. I really do. One thing. What's this whole... Did they announce that the winner gets $1 million?
Yeah.
They actually announced that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I kept hearing that, and I'm like, what? Like, I thought it was just each fight is just, there was no prize or anything. It was just the tournament. I didn't realize it was $1 million.
Winner of the tournament is obviously going to be the champion.
Oh wait, on top of the payment that they got.
I think so.
In each fight leading up to it.
They must.
Or is it an accumulated?
No,
right?
no. They must have like a legit $1 million prize.
Okay.
They're going like the PFL route of things. Right?
Hopefully that's enough motivation for Rory. But the way it looks right now, man, I don't know. It's not looking good for him to win that fight. I think Neiman Gracie's probably going to win that fight.
So say Neiman Gracie goes out there,
Yeah.
pulls off the upset of what I think would be an upset.
Yeah.
Diego Lima starches Michael Venom Page, which I think he opened up at like minus 300 or some shit.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to starch him, but I think he's going to beat him.
5 rounds.
He might be able to finish him. Page, like
He's durable.
I think people underestimate Page still a little bit because like it's just really the grappling. And Lima's definitely a better grappler than Paul Daly.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look for Page. But I could see it going to a decision. I don't think he gets like destroyed on the feet or anything like that or pressured. And I think he might actually do better than people think. I think he'll take a couple of rounds, maybe 1 or 2 rounds from Lima. But I think Lima will get it done. He'll look better than the Daly fight. Something tells me about that.
I believe that's the same night as Rory and Neiman.
Oh, are they doing both of them at the same time?
I think so. If I'm not mistaken, they should be doing around the same time.
Okay.
So they could even wrap this tournament up by October, considering how quickly they're going with this thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that really held this up was Rory MacDonald going up to face Gegard Mousasi. Because I'm
that
pretty sure the first fight of the tournament happened, and then they had Rory versus Gegard.
That was terrible booking in terms of timing too.
There's
and
no
then you
point.
had Rory get destroyed before he has to get into a tournament. At least he got to fight John Fitch in his first fight, so he's not going to take damage.
Yeah.
He just got tired.
Yeah, but he could possibly have lost that decision.
Yeah.
And the one thing that really struck me in that as well is John Fitch didn't complain much. It didn't seem like he complained about the decision after the fact.
I think he just knows his style and realizes, like, yeah, I got hit a lot, but I also controlled a lot, so I just hope they're favoring control. I don't think you can argue either way in that fight. I do think damage should 100% outweigh control. So looking at it from that standpoint, maybe it's probably the right call for Rory.
I think it was round 4 where Rory really had him hurt.
Like was it round 4?
I think that was round 4.
Okay.
It seems like everyone round 4.
From what I saw in the scoring, it was 1 and 2 Rory, 3 and 5 Fitch, and then 4 was like damage versus control because Fitch controlled him for like the last 2.5, 3 minutes. Yeah. But then when Rory was lighting him up, he hurt him. So I would go with the damage. I'm okay with Rory moving on. Bad performance.
Where does Rory go from here though? Like, you think he's going to lose in the next fight?
I think if he loses in the next fight, maybe it's time to retire. And I think if he wins the next fight, complete the tournament.
Ridiculous to say, considering that, just a couple of years ago, not even a couple of years ago, we thought Rory was like the next coming of GSP.
I know he never really lived up to his potential though. He had just kept getting all these losses in between and having some lackluster fights, and you're like, oh man, like he's not getting better.
The Wonderboy fight was so weird. I was there live for that one. That one was.
He says he trained like an idiot for that. I remember him commenting on that, like he was only trading like karate stuff or something. I don't know, like to counter that. He just kept doing the Imanari
roll. That roll, yeah.
Like, and it was not working.
No, I don't. I just didn't understand his approach in that fight, and it was a very pivotal fight for him too, considering it was the last one on his contract. He knew like it was Bellator or UFC after this. Bellator with the loss, UFC I get a better contract. Yeah, right.
I don't know. I personally think he's just been on the downhill.
Do you think
after that Lawler fight? I think Lawler just took his. Like, it was that fight where he broke that was just too much for him. Like, after that, he's never been the same.
Do you think there's a universe that we see Rory eventually return to the UFC?
I think he's done. I think he'll... I mean, you're getting paid more in Bellator than you would probably make in the UFC. Or, well, I guess now if he went back to the UFC, he'd get more money because of what his value is in Bellator. But it wouldn't be enough of a race to fight those killers.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. It's not going to... And at this point, like... He's not like a young up-and-comer coming through. He has a lot of fight years on him. He might just be done with it, just the way he's talking and stuff. So I think he just rides it out in Bellator, collects a couple more checks, and then he should just exit the game, be done with it.
There was one intriguing super fight that I thought we could do in Bellator if these guys continue to win.
Yeah. Was
Rory against Ben Henderson. I know Ben Henderson's a little bit over the hill, but it's just two names that are like kind of in the same weight classes, could be in the same weight class at welterweight. I know. I think it's
Yeah.
just my bias for fucking Ben Henderson. You know, I've always
Yeah,
been a fan of that guy, and
I know.
just want to see bigger things from him.
I like,
didn't even
I
watch
like
that.
Ben too. Yeah,
I didn't
but
watch his last fight with Piccolotti, and you want to
another split
decision.
split decision.
Just
Ben
seems to
Henderson.
fucking happen all the time.
He either loses them or wins them.
So let's put a finality to this. Who wins the Bellator tournament?
I think Lehman beats Gracie in the final. And I think you're gonna say Gracie beats Lima in the final, aren't you?
You fucking know. You fucking
I
know.
can see it either way though, because that's a classic
Striker
versus grappler.
God
So
damn.
depends on where the fight stays or goes, right? So
Fuck. I didn't even
I'm
think
actually
about it
really
that way.
excited about this tournament. Bellator's making some good moves with these
It's
tournaments. I like how
surprising
they're
that Neiman is becoming that guy, right? Like
Yeah.
like he was the absolute dark horse. He was the underdog in the fucking Ed Ruth fight. Everybody thought Ed Ruth was going to go out there
Ed
and
Ruth
squash
was the
him.
next big thing, yeah. And he
Yeah.
didn't he sub him the first round? Was it the first round?
I don't remember when he subbed him, but he definitely subbed
Okay.
him. That one was crazy.
Yeah, that was impressive.
This is almost shades of Daniel Cormier. You know what I mean? Coming into the heavyweight Grand Prix, not really known. Goes out there,
oh
beats
my
fucking
God.
Bigfoot Silva. Goes
I
out
remember
there,
watching that Bigfoot-
ragdolls Josh Barnett.
I remember watching the Bigfoot fight because nobody knew who Cormier was. He's just a fill-in, and you think
Blocks the
Bigfoot's going to
fuck outta
destroy
him,
him,
dude.
and
That
this
was
tiny
nuts.
little pudgy guy just knocks out this monster.
That was
It was
nuts.
hilarious.
All right, let's fucking put a wrap on this episode with our last little segment, which is what our most anticipated fight of.
Keep forgetting about
what do we
the
got?
fights. Let
April,
me-
May. What month are we in? We're in May.
Let me
What's
take
your
a look
most
at it.
anticipated fight of the month? I can kick this off if you're still looking for it.
I just keep forgetting the goddamn. I have like 3 in mind, and then they'll slip my mind. Okay, you go.
All right, I got two. One honorable
I got
mention.
'em, yeah.
Honorable mention is Jessica Andrade against Rose Namajunas. Very excited for that fight.
Yes.
I've always been big on Jessica Andrade. She is the female John Lineker who is actually, achieving her potential. So I'm very excited for her to finally get a title shot. Very well deserved. And then against a very competitive Rose Namajunas who continues to elevate her game every time we see her. She beat Ioana Jędrzejczyk. She didn't finish her the second time, but you saw that she was still able to hang for 5 full rounds against a girl that many believe were like the greatest women fighter of all time in Ioana Jędrzejczyk. So in this fight against Jessica Andrade, it's very close in terms of the striking. You're getting the power of Jessica Andrade, and then you're getting the finesse and technique of Rose Namajunas. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two styles clash. But for me, the fight I'm most anticipating this month, Jose Aldo against Alexander Volkanovski. I can't fucking wait for that fight. Alexander Volkanovski is another guy that I've been huge on for a long time now, and I'm excited for him to get this pretty much title contention shot. This is his opportunity to secure that title shot. We know we have some more clarity in the featherweight division with Max Holloway losing to Dustin Poirier. So it's pretty much, we agreed on it earlier on this episode. Alexander Volkanovski with a win over Jose Aldo should secure a title shot, and I think it's very important. I think it's probably the most important fight in the month, especially for the featherweight division. So I'm excited to see Volkanovski achieve his full potential, get a name like Jose Aldo under his belt, and then go on to fight Max Holloway hopefully later this year. What's your most anticipated fight?
I'd actually agree with you. I was going to go with the same thing, Volkanovski
Fuck
Aldo, just because of stylistically, they're going to go at it,
Yes.
and importance, like you said,
Yeah.
just
There's a lot of
significance in the division for sure. That's actually I'll rank that number 2, but
Okay.
my other honorable mention is the same thing, Namajunas versus Andrade, because I think it's obvious. Skill-wise, Namajunas is much better. But Andrade, her fucking chin and her
It's
hands,
granite.
it doesn't make any sense.
It's fucking granite.
Andrade defensively is terrible. Nobody
Yeah.
acknowledges this because she just eats every shot, though.
Yeah,
Nothing affects
nobody's
her.
able to do
That's why
anything with
Ioana beat her, because Ioana is able to keep the pace of just circling for 5 rounds. So just kept tagging
Rose
her.
is going to be able to do that for sure.
And that's the thing. Stylistically, if anyone else can do it, Rose can. But Rose has been shown to kind of mentally wilt when you pressure her and start to get her, like Carolina
Yeah.
did it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you could see the look on her face, like she kind of mentally checks out during the fight.
and
with
you're
that
going to
pressure.
get constant pressure from Jessica Andrade in
Exactly.
this
So
fight.
what are you going to get? Are you going to get first round Rose the whole fight where she's just on? Because if she is, I don't think Andrade has a chance. I think it'd be super impressive if Rose can finish fucking Andrade. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it'll. I think that's just going to be a very telling fight for Rose.
Before you get onto
Yeah.
the main one that you're talking about,
Yeah.
Look how top. We've talked about both fights from UFC 237. Look how top heavy that card is.
It's really, yeah.
The top 3 fights: Rose Namajunas,
Little Nog is fighting.
Cannonier
Come on.
versus Spider, Aldo against Volkanovski, and then it just falls off a cliff from there. But like again, if you're a hardcore nut, you're into these fights. I get it. I'm into these fights, but from
Yeah.
a casual perspective,
100%.
Thiago Alves against Laureano Staropoli. Staropoli just made his fucking debut at UFC Argentina a couple months ago. Decent win under his belt, but big step up against Thiago Alves. Does he really deserve a main card slot? I don't know. Francisco Trinaldo against Diego Ferreira. That's a good fight. Lonog against Ryan Spann. That's a pretty much a cupcake for Ryan Spann. Hopefully, Thiago Moises against Kurt Holloway. That's going to be a banger of a fight. Irene Aldana against Betch Correa. Meh. BJ Penn versus Clay Guida. Fuck you. Luana Carolina versus Priscilla Cachoeira. No idea who fuck Carolina is. Cachoeira, hopefully she needs another win. Warley Alves against Sergio Moraes. Maybe
That's a good stylistic
That should be
match.
on the fucking main
That
card.
really should. I was looking at that fight stylistically. Come on, they're high level grapplers. That should be fun.
Okay, I completely overlooked this fight. Hani Barcelos against Said Nurmagomedov. That is a banger of a fight.
Is
Holy
it?
shit.
I don't know who Barcelos is.
Dude.
I know Said.
When you go home, fight pass Hani Barcelos' last 2 fights.
Okay.
You'll fucking see why.
All right.
The guy is a monster.
Gonna do
He
that.
is really good. He was the LFA champ, I'm pretty sure. LFA or type, one of those regional promotions, then came over. But murder. Really fucking good. And then Said Nurmagomedov just fucking stopped Ricardo Ramos in his last fight.
That was
in a very
good.
impressive fashion.
He probably should have lost the Scoggins fight. A lot of people felt Scoggins won
But he
there,
showed
but
out in his last fight.
He did pretty good
against
yeah.
a very promising prospect
Yeah.
in Ricardo Ramos.
Yep, that's true.
But let's get your pick for most anticipated fight. Let's wrap this
I'm
shit
gonna
up.
have to go with Iaquinta versus Cowboy because
Interesting.
that is also a top tier
Interesting.
fight in terms
Very
of
significant.
rankings wise, and I think it's gonna be more fun to watch than Aldo Volkanovski just by because
I could see that.
You just
I
look
see
at
that.
Iaquinta and
I know.
who Al Iaquinta and Cowboy
I
are.
know.
Come on, man, they're just gonna go at it. And I know Volkanovski and Aldo's gonna go at it, but I feel like you're gonna get more in the Cowboy Iaquinta fight because
More entertainment.
Volkanovski Aldo. It feels like that fight might be a little shorter because they're more able to put each other out.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Iaquinta and Cowboy, you're going to get a lot more of a fight before maybe there's a finish in the later.
later
And I
rounds.
think it's all going to be super fucking entertaining and
Who
awesome.
do you lean?
I'm going to have to go with Al Iaquinta because he is really good at pressuring and getting in guys' faces, and he's not going to wilt under Cowboy strikes, and that's Cowboy's kryptonite. Like if you can get right in his face and not give him his distance and not give a fuck,
Yeah.
you could easily take him out. So and Iaquinta is like top of the game right now. So I think
I just recorded the Lawcast 2 days ago, and I actually sided with Cowboy.
really okay,
But I
I would
wouldn't bet
not
him.
be
I
surprised
wouldn't
if
bet
Cowboy
him.
wins. Yeah,
I'm setting my limit at plus 150. If we get Cowboy at plus 150,
Okay.
I'll probably put a little bit of money on him. But
I
gonna
totally
be very
I totally wouldn't be surprised if Cowboy head kicks him to death.
I
or
am
something. Not
over
surprised.
the narrative of Cowboy as chinny. He could still get put out, sure. But I think people are putting a little bit too much stock in the fact that he is chinny.
Honestly,
Darren
when
Till
did
put him out. Was the last time I?
But no, he never got put out. They were all TKOs.
There was another one.
Dos Anjos rushed him.
Yep.
Darren Till broke his nose. That's why Cowboy turned away. He's like, no, not the face, because you broke
Yeah.
my nose. And then Jorge Masvidal was the bad one.
Yeah, that one
That
was
was the
bad.
one where at the end of the first round he was out, and then Herb let him continue, and then he got
He broke-
TKO'd in the
yeah.
second round, just standing against the cage. But he also took that fight after a tough fight against Matt Brown only a month later.
Yeah, that was a really quick turnaround for him because he wanted to fight
Quick
in Denver,
turnaround.
right?
And Jorge Masvidal's boxing, come on, man. That guy's going to put anybody fucking out.
Let's see. The last time he got knocked out was
It was Darren Till was a TKO.
October 2017. Then before that was Jorge Masvidal in
He
January.
got rocked in the Yancey fight, I think.
He went 3 rounds with Robbie Lawler and ate some good shots there too.
That was a tough fight, yeah. Robbie
So let's say
pressured him
after
in the
that,
first and
Yancy
third.
Medeiros, he didn't eat too many shots. Leon Edwards, he stood with for 5 rounds. He took a couple of Mike Perry shots, and then Mike Perry shot himself in the foot. Alexander Hernandez took big shots from an up-and-coming prospect there, too. So I think Iaquinta does possess knockout power and could get the victory here via that route. But I think we'll see a better Cowboy Cerrone than most people are thinking.
Cool. Yeah, just based off what we saw in the Hernandez fight, Hernandez never adjusted properly. So I think just a caliber fight of Al Iaquinta with Longo in the corner too. I think he'll be able to just come up with a good game plan, and if anything, make adjustments. Plus, I just think his boxing is ridiculous.
It's gonna be a fucking sick fight.
Yeah.
That fight, Volkanovski and Aldo's gonna be crazy,
Yeah.
and then Andrade Namajunas is gonna be crazy as well. But that pretty much puts a bow on
Lots of good
episode
fights to
3,
look
man.
forward to,
Dude, I can't wait. And another thing that we want to kind of confirm and officially announce now, every 2 weeks.
Oh,
We're gonna be
yes,
going
yes,
bi-weekly.
bi-weekly.
We're going to
do
fit that into
bi-weekly.
Rob's schedule as best as possible, but we are going to do this shit on a bi-weekly basis. Get the fucking train rolling a little bit more, and fucking pump the shit out of this, man. I fucking have so much fun doing this.
Yeah, talking
it's
about
so
MMA.
easy.
It's like an outlet to get it out.
It's so easy.
Who else
And
am
then
I gonna talk to
Rob with the magic with everything.
Yeah.
Everything you see here and like everything, that's him, man. That is all him. We're just here to look pretty and talk about fucking guys punching each other in the face.
I feel like Callan from Fighter in the Kid.
I just
show
come
up.
in.
Where do I
Just, where do I sit?
What do I talk
What the
about?
fuck? What do I talk about?
All right, cool.
That's pretty much all it is. We should be back in about 2 weeks' time. I'm going to be going on vacation next week. Tony's just going to
Enjoy
be
that.
fucking doing whatever the fuck he does.
Yeah, chilling out.
But I'll be back for, I said on this last episode of the Logcast, I'm going to be recording UFC 237's episode on my phone while I'm in Saskatchewan, so it's going to be a little bit lower quality than normal, but I still want to get the content out there for you guys, so be sure to check that out next week. Good luck on the fights this weekend. Good luck on the fights next weekend. And then me and Tony will see you guys in 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks, yes.
All right. We're out. Later.
Later.
Peace.